I mean, well, John, it's you're not around for the league, but approaching it like any other game away trip to Macarthur, albeit a neutral venue, I suppose for the two sides. How do you approach the game? How have you approached the week?
Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, like it's a normal game. In terms of we have to travel, we have to go play interstate. It is at a neutral venue, even though it's in Sydney and Macarthur are from there. But we're playing out of Combo, beautiful stadium. The only difference is that we're playing a curtain raiser, or we're playing before the Melbourne City Wanderers game. So there should be a good atmosphere there. Should be a crowd there, and we're looking forward to it because we've been saying it a lot, but we had a really good performance against Melbourne City. Two cracking goals ended up costing us in the end, but the effort's there, and we're just wanting to turn the season around by picking up wins now, and we think that against Macarthur we performed like we did last game, even though it's going to be a different game, that we've got every chance of doing that.
I think we've had it maybe once, maybe twice so far this season. The Sunday to Friday, the sort of short turnaround between games. So have you sort of approached training and working with the group this
Yeah,
week?
no, the boys have really looked like they recovered well from the City game. The City game was high intensity, and always the derby games. There's a little bit more in terms on the physical side, but they've recovered well, and it's been a shorter week, so you don't have as many training sessions. But in terms of the way that the boys have been training, we didn't change too much. And they'll be ready for tomorrow night. They've also had a short turnaround, we know that, but our main focus is to make sure that our boys are recovered well.
Talking about the City game, obviously another one where we play very well, don't get the chances or the ball falling our way and the result going our way in the end. But in particular, the goal that was scored feels like maybe that sort of goal we probably may not have scored very often in the last few years. The amount of passes in the build up and not just sort of passing for passing's sake, but the purpose of the passes as well. As soon as we get into the final third, Angus made so many of those little runs like he did to create that goal. How pleasing was that for you to see that come to life? And is that not literally in terms of the X's and O's, that exact passage of play, but is that something that's been worked on?
Yeah, we've been working on that. We wanted to look. We've got a lot of new players, and as a club, we've got a lot of young players. We've gone down that path. And Angus is still young. He's only 23. We started up top with Michael and Noah, who are only 21. And then the ones that came on are all virtually under 20. So the football that we want to play is that type of football. There was an excellent goal. I think it was 18 passes before Michael got the final touch, and that's what we want to end up. Being like as a football team. We know there's a lot more to it as well. You need to be able to defend, but we defended really well against City. They created very few chances, if any. We pressed them well, and then when we had the ball, we were able to open them up. That was one of the goals that after a sequence of passes, but we created more openings and opportunities. It's just that sometimes that final ball or the final shot let us down a little bit, but we'll keep working with that and working on that and making sure we improve, because when you perform like that, you should be winning the game. So that's the disappointing thing.
You mentioned Michael there. It's his first league start for the club since he joined probably just about a year ago. Had some good performances in the Australia Cup as well, and even in the last few weeks, it had been building in his substitute performances as well. Aside from the goal, his overall display was positive as well. How have you seen his development in the last year since he's been here, and particularly in the last month or so?
Yeah, it's been good. It's taken time, and that's what happens sometimes with younger players. It will take time for them to get to the level, but also like if they're willing to work on their game, they'll improve quite quickly. But I could sense it and see it in the way that he'd been training over the last few months. He's been getting better each time in training, and then when he's coming on as a sub, he's been making a good impact, and so I thought it was a good time to start him in this game. So and his overall performance was good. There's still a lot of things that we have to work with him on, and he will look to improve on. But his effort is been there, and he keeps on improving like that. Then better for him and for us.
And Noah alongside him as well. Obviously, the goals not quite coming for him yet, but again, you can see in his overall performance the way he drops in, wants to seek the ball, wants to keep finding opportunities. You can see as well when we're losing, he's one of the ones that sort of gets frustrated. You can tell his passion and how much he cares and how much he's into the game. So how do you support him and stick with him through the lack of goals and remind him and show him the things that he's obviously doing well?
Yeah, look, Noah's effort is always there, day in, day out in training. His will to learn is there. At the moment, it's just not falling for him, but his movement's been good. His all-round game's been good. He works hard during the game defensively as well, and there's certain things that I can fall back on in terms of from my own career when I was going through, not scoring, or from players that I coached like Jamie McLaren when he wasn't scoring, and try and help him through this period. And it's been new for him because he's so young, but this will happen probably further down his career, and once he gets through this, he'll know how he might be able to get out of it. So that's something that we will work closely with him and just keep his confidence up, because his all-round game's been good.
Game number 250 in the league for Josh tomorrow as well. We speak about him quite often in terms of his leadership, his quality, and what he brings to the team. Just a word on the achievement for him, bringing up 250.
Yeah, great achievement for him. He's been around quite a while now in the A-League, and with a few different clubs, and I can only talk from what he's been able to give us here, and won a championship is pretty special for any player, and he's been able to do that, and let's hope that there's many more games to come, and hopefully he can do well and we can get a win for him in his 250th game.
You talked about, back onto the City game, you talked a little bit about some of the young players that have been coming on. Obviously it was a league debut for Jake off the bench as well, another opportunity for Matt Grimaldi, Reece Bozanowski as well. The NPL season is a month away, a few weeks away now. How much of a boost will that be to get some of these guys playing more regularly, and then as well as that, having a look at some other guys that maybe haven't been training with the first team yet, and seeing how they perform in the NPL as well? Yeah,
look, we've been doing that anyway because they've been playing friendly games, so we've been able to get those players, some games, some game time, and it has helped them. Reece Bozanowski has had a long-term injury, so we're trying to build his body back up and make sure that he gets to a level that then he can play consistent football, because we don't want him to break down again, because it's early on in his career. We need to build his body to be able to be more resilient and play regular football. So but we've been pleased when he's coming on. He's making good impact, and before too long I'm sure that he'll get his opportunity in starting, because he's doing well. Jake Najowski's again someone that when he first came into our environment ended up breaking down with a long-term injury. So again, we're trying to build him up and get him to a level, and it was good to see him come on, and he was only on for a little bit, but he gave us some good impact. Matthew Grimaldi is getting more and more game time. He's doing well. Each day in training we're working with him, and it takes time for these players to end up adapting to not only the games, but training, and training at a level and the intensity. So but there's a lot of promising signs with a lot of the younger boys. Then we've had other younger boys training with us throughout this period, and then the NPL season will give them that opportunity to play week in, week out, and regular football.
And just the final one, we're obviously still in January. I think the window works slightly differently compared to Europe. Not too much movement yet across the league, but is that anything you're exploring going into the rest of the month?
At the moment, as a club, we're not in a position to sign any other players. So we work with the players that we've got. you know, the younger boys that we've got, and you know, there'll be opportunities for them. Yeah, we've got a few injuries, and it would be nice to have some other players involved. But you know, hopefully we'll get James Donachie back soon. Hopefully Danzaki's not too long. We know that he'll probably be around 6 weeks. You know, we know that Nikita Rukavica is not too far away, but you know, probably another 3 weeks. So, you know, hopefully these players come back and can give everyone a boost.